Whether it's Cub Scout day camp and derby days, or Boy Scouting and venturing camping trips, and high adventure excursions, having fun is very important to everyone in Scouting, and so is their safety and well-being. Completing the annual health and medical record is the first step in making sure you have a great Scouting experience. The BSA Annual Health and Medical Record, often known as the medical form or the annual physical, is designed to help ensure that all participants in the Scouting program are healthy enough for the adventure of Scouting. It is not intended to limit participation, but to inform and protect. One thing parents and leaders normally want to know is why the BSA requires a release and a health history of all participants in Scouting events. There are actually three key reasons. First, completing a health history promotes health awareness and provides critical information needed to treat someone in the event of an illness or injury. It also provides consent for treatment in the event a participant needs emergency care while traveling away from a parent or guardian. Second, poor health and lack of awareness of risk factors have led to disabling injuries, illnesses, and even fatalities. And third, the annual health and medical record also serves as the tool that enables councils to operate day and resident camps and adhere to BSA and state requirements. Parts A and B should be completed for all participants and Scouting leaders. Part C should be completed by a licensed healthcare provider before the participant attends any Scouting event that is longer than 72 hours, such as a summer camp, trek, or multi-day excursion. The optional High Adventure Risk Advisory, formerly known as Part D, needs to be shared with the examining medical provider during the pre-participation examination to explain known health risks for each of BSA's 4 high adventure bases. Additionally, your council may develop a risk advisory specific to your council camp or other properties or events. To assure privacy, the form should be maintained by a designated leader, carefully stored and used only as needed to provide for planning and rendering care. Medical forms should not be scanned, stored, or sent electronically except as specifically directed for a BSA national event such as the National Jamboree. To keep up with possible changes in health status, the form needs to be updated annually or when a participant's health information changes. Find more tips and resources on AHMRs and other safety moments on the Scouting Safely website at scouting.org.
Screen. So welcome to our 2026 Camp Scouthaven Scouts BSA kickoff. I'm Brandon Blatz. I am our camp director. Our other presenter is Damon. Damon, if you want to say.
Hello, Damon Biter, program director this year and returning from last year.
Cool. So yeah, our team's back together again. So let's move on. So let's talk about some of our Camp 2026 updates. So some of our improvements around camp. So I think our biggest improvement is our archery range has moved. So for our Scouts BSA, people have come, Scouts who've been to camp before, our archery area is kind of next to the health lodge. It is now moved to where the BB range is for our Cub Scout operations. So our archery range has kind of moved down the road, right past campsite 3. So if you're coming into camp, it's gonna be on the right-hand side as you're driving it off the road. When you're coming in for check-in, you'll see our new welcome center. So in the past, you might be familiar with a carport in the middle of the parking lot, but now you have a nice little welcome center. It's pictured at the bottom of the screen. We also added a few new pavilions around camp. So the Matar Center, where we host our activities, as well as Safari Lodge, where our craft lodges have some new outdoor teaching pavilions, seen on the screen in the top left. Also around camp, actually at our dining hall, we have some new hand washing stations. So, Scout is clean, so we want our Scouts to wash their hands. Also stay hydrated. So along the same part on the screen, there are some hand filling or water bottle filling stations. So that'll be on the left. Also, we have new trading post products as well as food options. A lot of our program areas, get some new equipment each year. And then we're also, every year before camp, the parking lot and road and trails around camp kind of get graded. So that's some of the cool improvements we have for 2026 so far. But I'll pass it on to Damon now to talk about our schedule, our program updates.
Excellent. So this year we are with one of my favorite things at the end of each scout session of this at the end of the summer. Sorry. One of my favorite things is while we are tearing down camp, while we're taking apart all the things and storing everything for next summer, we get our whole staff together to talk about what went well, what didn't go well, and then what do we want to do next year. And they were really excited to brainstorm on camp themes. And so we're doing Roll Out the Red Carpet as our theme this year. It's really going to be exciting. Each of our areas is going to be themed around a different genre of film. Some there'll be action films, there'll be comedy films, and things like that. And so a lot of the decorations around all of our activity areas, all of our program areas will be designed around that. We'll also have things around our dining hall, reminiscent of Hollywood and roll out the red carpet idea. One of the main things that we're going to do that's going to tie into this theme is we're going to have what's called a silver screen challenge. Last year, during our SPL meetings after lunch each day, we did, because we were doing like Stone Age Scouts last year, we did like a primitive skills challenge where I gave materials and a little bit of direction and education to our SPLs in order to help them lead at their own campsites. And then throughout the week, they've learned a bunch of different primitive skills. So this year, the idea is we're going to give them the materials and knowledge to be able to direct their own film. And so throughout their time at camp, they're going to develop a little script and come up with an idea for a film that they'll be able to produce while they're at camp. We're not talking about, Oscar-winning films here or 2-hour feature movies or anything like that, but something fun for the kids to work on throughout the week, to maybe like a little commercial for camp or a commercial for their unit, or just a really fun little fiction film that they want to have different scouts act in and participate in, something just fun that they'll be able to work on throughout the week. So we'll have the technology to be able to loan out to each unit cameras, things like that. And then also in our STEM center, we'll have the editing software to be able to bring that stuff in later in the week and for the kids to get a little bit of experience kind of putting a short film together. And then we'll actually show those films at our closing campfire, where we'll have like little, almost like an Oscar awards ceremony, and we'll have, best short film, best all the different categories. We'll come up with some fun categories to be able to reward each unit that participated in the Silver Screen Challenge. So that's something really exciting for this summer. Hopefully the kids will get really into it. Depending on what kind of film they're into, they can produce anything that they want, as long as it kind of fits within scouting principles. And we'll be talking to them throughout the week. So each day during that SPL meeting, I will talk to them about their progress, and then kind of filter any ideas. Obviously, all this stuff would have to be viewed before it's viewed by camp leadership before we can actually present it to the camp itself, and we'll make sure that that we're not letting anything slip through that shouldn't be, that's inappropriate or anything like that. So we'll be talking to the kids about those limitations as they go through the week. Some big happenings. Camp Thunder Rock this year. We're going to make some big changes to Camp Thunder Rock. First of all, the location. One of the things that moving the archery range helps us do, because we're going to be moving the archery range down where the BB range is for the Cubs. It's a nice big open field. They cleared a little bit more land there. They flattened it out a little bit more. We're going to have an extra pavilion down there. It's going to be a really beautiful area to do archery, but it also opens up the field that's right next to our health office and across from Site 11. That big field and the pavilion that's there is going to house our Camp Thunder Rock. So all of Camp Thunder Rock will be happening there. And so throughout the week, we're going to have a few different instructors coming in so that the kids are not listening to the same voice all week. I know that 3 hours a day can be a long time for kids. So with the idea of keeping it really fresh and really fast paced for our youngest scouts, we're going to have a lot of different instructors coming in. I will be down there for some of the instruction. Colin's going to be down there. He ran that program, that Camp Thunder Rock program, for many years before becoming commissioner. And so we're going to be kind of teaming up on the curriculum there. The focus of the Camp Thunder Rock program is going to change a little bit too. Colin and I spent a lot of time talking over the winter to really come up with what do the scouts need. What does a brand new scout to a unit need? But more as importantly, what does the unit need from that scout. What does the unit need that scout to know in order to be both a useful and a member of the troop, but also somebody that feels like they can be part of the troop? They have the skills to be able to go on a weekend camp out and really pitch in and not feel like they're being babysat, but really being part of all the patrol activities and have the skills necessary to go into a kitchen and help out, have the skills to be able to trustworthy set up a tent and pick the right areas for different activities and things like that, and do just about any of the skills around camp that will make them really useful members of your troop. I remember, I'm a scoutmaster, so I feel like I understand those brand new scouts coming into a unit, and one of the things that makes them feel like they don't belong is if they don't feel useful, if they don't feel like they can offer anything to their troop right away, they don't have the skills to be able to really fit in, then they feel like they're being kind of babysat a little bit. And so we want to give them all the skills they need right away, but keep it really fast paced and give them lots of practice time during that Camp Thunder Rock time. So we'll be doing that down at the old archery range. We're gonna change the way the overnighter works for that as well. So last year it was just simply the Thursday night. They went up on the hill. They pitched a tent. It was all after dinner. They spent one night in the tent. They came back down. We did a couple of cool activities up there. We went for a short hike. We did a couple of leadership things with them, things like that. But we really thought we can do a better job with that overnighter. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to leave camp on Wednesday evening before dinner, and they're actually going to go down to the area down at the end of the world near Holman Cabin, and they're going to set up their own campsite, kind of weekend camping style, where they would set up their own campsite. We'll have the kinds of equipment that they would generally use during a troop camp out. So propane stoves, things like that, tents to be able to set up a campsite, to set up a campfire ring, things like that, for them to really feel like they're setting up their own camp to stay there. They'll cook dinner for themselves with the support and guidance of senior staff to make sure everything's safe and that there's plenty for portions and things like that. And they'll actually eat dinner together down at the end of the world, down at Holman Cabin. They'll do some activities that evening, some leadership activities, things like that. They'll spend the night there, and they'll actually eat breakfast there too, so that by the time they come back to camp, they'll go straight into their 3-hour programming. It'll be like just a continuation of that long overnight stay down at Holman Cabin. And then hopefully when they come back to your unit at lunchtime on Thursday, they're going to have some great stories to tell and build a ton of confidence in their ability to be a great part of your troop. That's what we feel like is going to keep them in scouting long term, is if they feel like they're really valued members and valuable members of your troop. So we put a lot of thought into the Camp Thunder Rock experience. We have some theme-based merit badges. So we always try to mix in. It's actually a Scouting America standard to be able to take some merit badges out each summer and add some replacements in each year. And we try to do that based on theme a little bit. So we thought a little bit about the roll out the red carpet theme and which things would work really well. So we have some new merit badges that are tied in with that theme-based stuff. We have a theme-based areas around camp. So like I said earlier, each program area will be based around a type of film. So I think one of them is rom-com. So there'll be some funny things happening in different areas around camp. And then we're bringing back a theme skit too. Last year we didn't really do a specific theme skit throughout the week. And I actually had a couple of scouts come up to me throughout the summer and be like, what happened to the theme skit, right? Sometimes we feel like some of these kids can be a little bit too mature to really get into a theme skit. But I think if we design it right and we have a little bit of fun with it in a sort of an age appropriate manner, we have a little bit more, tongue in cheek, humor in our theme skit. I think we can really make it fun for the kids to get involved in sort of a theme skit. So we'll have some sort of washed up Hollywood actors coming into camp and things like that. The kids will kind of get and be able to understand. So we're going to have a theme skit back It won't be overwhelming. We're not going to be taking 20 minutes during lunch to do a bunch of acting, but it'll be just kind of sprinkled into our campfires and during some meals and things like that. We have changed up the way that we're doing F period merit badges. So instead of just scheduling, you're in a merit badge for all of F period for each day. We decided to use F period for a lot of 1 and 2 stop merit badges. You probably have seen that on the merit badge schedule. And so it frees it up because some of those merit badges don't really take 4 full days of hour-long programming to get those done. So we tried to be a little more flexible with F period, but F period is also going to be filled with lots of great open programming at each area. So each area will be open during F period for non-merit badge activities. And so if kids don't want to sign up for an F period merit badge, or maybe they just want to do a one-stop on Tuesday, so that leaves their Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday open, we kind of encourage that because we want kids to really enjoy all that camp has to offer, not just merit badge classes. So that's some of the program updates and announcements. Some of the awards that are going on. Obviously, our Sunrise Award is always a very, very popular one. Not with everybody. Some kids really don't like the Sunrise Award. They don't like waking up earlier than they have to, especially some teenagers. They'd love to sleep until 11, but our Sunrise Award encourages them to get up and get out to our program areas early. Honor Patrol, Unit, and Leader Awards will be coming back this year. Our Crimson Award. Arthur Eldred Award, which is Arthur Eldred, for those of you who don't know, was the very first Eagle Scout, and so we'll have it's sort of an award that goes to one outstanding Scout per session. So in session 1, our staff gets together along with some of the leaders who talk about some of the Scouts that who might be deserving of something like that. And then also that's a nomination. So each unit might nominate somebody and do a little write-up about what a great week they had, some of the great progress they made, some of the things that happened to them during the week that might make them eligible for the Arthur Eldred Award. And then we present that at the closing campfire. Astronomy, Order the Flame, Order the Knot, and the Paul Bunyan Award. Those are things down at Outdoor Skills. Some of those are adult awards that are kind of, well, they're not official Scouting America awards, but they're things that are fun for adults to do. Last year we had a whole unit of adults that came down and did the Order of the Flame and the Order of the Knot all together. We probably had five adults that all came down together to kind of challenge each other a little bit. Took 45 minutes out of their day to have a little bit of fun on their own, coming down and see who could get the best fire going or tie the most amount of knots in 2 minutes or whatever it is, right? A Clean Campsite Award, our Silver Screen Challenge Awards. So that's, again, something that we'll do at our closing campfire, and it'll be sort of Oscar-like. We have to be careful a little bit with trademarks, but I actually made a call out to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce to make sure we weren't going to get in too much trouble for going with the roll out the red carpet or Hollywood themed kind of stuff. They're pretty okay with all this stuff as long as we don't infringe on specific movie franchises and things like that. That's outside of that, they're pretty good with us using sort of Hollywood themed things. And then obviously a Gateway and Campsite Decoration Challenge, all about Hollywood stars and Walk of Fame and things like that. A Hollywood sign. We'd love to see somebody come up with a Scoutywood sign or a Scouthaven sign that looks like the Hollywood sign, something cool like that. So get creative with your Gateway and Campsite decoration stuff. We're really excited about this theme this year. It's gonna be great. Our day one overview is very, very similar to what we had last year. Check-ins, I felt like we made some improvements last year in our check-in procedures. It's always a focus because when you first come into camp, we know how important first impressions are. And especially if it's your scout's first chance to come out to summer camp, it's really important that we give them a great experience and the right tone right away at the start of camp, and that we don't make that last too long or make it too dry or too but there is also health department wise things we have to get done during those camp tours and during all the check-in procedures. So we have to keep it safe, and keep it fun for everybody. So we put a lot of work in. We have some more work to do. We know we can make it better, and we intend to try to make it better this year. We'll also do religious services on that first night, and an opening campfire. We'll meet in front of the dining hall. We'll go down to the not to the Pine Bowl, to the campfire ring, lakeside campfire ring for our opening campfire. Remember that the way that we're running those check-ins, we're starting at 11, so that your unit can arrive as early as 11. But we'd really like it if you either had something in coolers for lunch, or if you ate before you got to camp, because we're running all of our unit check-ins and our swim tests and our orientation and all that stuff, we won't be serving lunch at camp that day. The first meal in camp will be dinner that first night on Sunday. A little bit more time to set up your campsite. We know that the heart of a camping experience for a camper is the campsite. Most of their great memories, as much as we try to make our programming really great, scouts are going to remember the time they get to spend with their fellow scouts in their campsite, around that campfire, playing a frisbee game, whatever it is. We know that that's the heart of the campsite, and we want to give you enough time that first day to get set up for the kids to really succeed in making that their home. I was always impressed with my scouting units. We would show up to a place that looked like nothing, right? Something, you'd go on a backpacking trip or something like that. You'd walk into a section of the woods, and there's nothing there. And within 45 minutes, the kids make it look like a city, right? They got a kitchen set up. They have all their tents set up. They got all the games out. They got the rank boards and all kinds of different things set up to make it look like home for the week. So we know how important that is, and we want to make sure you have an opportunity to set up your campsite the right way. Schedule is pretty similar to last year. One of the big changes is that Wednesday and Thursday thing. Again, our youngest campers, our Camp Thunder Rock, will be going on Wednesday evening. Last year that was Thursday, and we did it in conjunction with the Wilderness Survival Overnighter, which was on Thursday. But this year they'll be on separate nights. So the Wednesday evening will be our Camp Thunder Rock Overnighter, again, before dinner to after breakfast. For that program, it's going to be a long program and really great. And then our Wilderness Survival will still take place on Thursday, but we can put a little bit more resources into that Wilderness Survival Overnighter because we're separating it from the Wednesday group. And so we're intending on making some really big additions to that Wilderness Survival to have those older kids feel like that's a little bit more of a wilderness adventure up there, getting those getting those requirements done for the merit badge, but also making it feel like a little bit more of an adventure up there, and not having first year campers in that same area. So give them a little bit of space and time on their own up there too. So, and we have the supervision and expertise to be able to go up on that hill and do a great job up there. Other than that, there's not too many big changes to the daily schedule Monday to Thursday. Friday is still our special programs and merit badge makeups in the morning. We'll have all kinds of great programming available at different areas, but also if the kids have to check in with their merit badge counselor for one last thing that they had to get done, or something that they worked on in their campsite and had to finish up, those counselors will be in those program areas for them to check in to make sure we can get all that stuff signed off. And then hopefully by the time we get to family picnic and closing campfire, we'll be able to give you a good report on all the completions of the merit badges throughout the week.
Okay, so as Damon said, merit badges. So Black Pug is our resource that we use for merit badge tracking. Unfortunately, if you are out of council, your council may not be using Black Pug. So we still might need blue cards for our friends that are coming up for the Virginia area. I believe your council does not, as I've talked to a leader about. But Black Pug's our system. So we kind of have just two different levels of access in the Black Pug system. So first, our camp coordinator. So that's going to be whoever signed up your unit to go to summer camp. So they're going to be able to go in the system and edit trailer information, site selections, make payments, order t-shirts through our online trading post, or any other special requests such as, dietary needs or CPAP, stuff like that. Also, that's where the camp coordinator could go inside merit badges, and then they get that link by logging on. They'll get a receipt, from their initial thing. They can log on that way. There is the parent portal, which is strongly recommended. That's where an individual could go in, a parent could go in, they could pay for their youth. They could also order the Trading Post t-shirt or put in special requests. If the unit turns on the feature, they could also select their merit badges that way, but some units like the camp coordinator to do that. So moving on to our health and safety corner. So this is going to be a change from many of our I'd say ongoing units that come to camp. So back in 2024, we kind of did the same thing. So our health officer this year is an EMT. With that being said, in New York State, an EMT cannot administer over-the-counter medicine. So with that being said, there will be no over-the-counter medicines that are administered by our camp staff in 2026. This will expedite our check-in process because when you come into camp, if all your medicines do need to be turned into our health lodge or health officer. But you'll be given a baggie. In that baggie, you'll put all your medicine in. It'll be locked up. The way that medicine is to be administered, it's by the bag. So it could either be self-administered or administered by a parent. Well, since we're not at a Cub Scout camp here where our parents more is likely there, it's going to be all self-administered. So whatever you bring in that bag, whether it's, your prescription drugs or an aspirin, Tylenol, stuff like that, that is your youth's choice. They'll be given their bag and they could self-administer those medicines. Our staff cannot administer over-the-counter medicines. So again, that's going to be the aspirins, the Tylenols, anything like that. And we will not have any in hand. So please take note of that. Also, whatever medicines that you are turning in, make sure they're on your health form. So I'm kind of jumping around here, but the first bullet point, so everyone who's camping over 72 hours needs parts A, B, and C of the health form. The form must be completed annually, at least 12 months within the date from their camping. It does need to be signed by both parents and guardians, especially for Scouts SBSA youth, as well as Part C has to be signed by the physician. If we do not have that, the scout and or adult will not be allowed to stay in camp for more than 24 hours and will be forced to leave. If you have any special requests, you could go on our Black Pug system again. Please, I know many troops have trailers. Please select that you're bringing a trailer, or if you need CPAPs. And the big one is our dietary requests. Every year we go out to camp and there's people we find out the day of that, can't have gluten. Well, most of our food, we're getting away from a lot of the gluten, but still has gluten and stuff in it. So please let us know, through the parent portal or through the online registration, any dietary requests in advance so we could plan accordingly to the appropriate food to meet your medical or religious obligations. Our tentative summer camp menu will be available soon on our website. So we are just kind of in the process of getting our dietitian to approve it. But it will be up soon. If you are in a site, so we only have 5 sites with electric in camp. If you are in a site that does not have electric, we encourage you to bring a CPAP machine or a battery for your CPAP machine. If not, bring some extension cords because there are power and prices are what we do have battery packs available at camp for rent as well. So any questions on these last 2 health and safety slides? I see in the chat, one is up. Maybe. Do adult part-time participants staying only 1 or 2 nights need Form A through C? So if they are staying less than 72 hours, they do not. However, we need to make sure that they're staying less than 72 hours. That is a very strict rule. So I'd encourage everyone to get Part C filled. But if it is under the 72-hour timeline, they just need Parts A and B. So for a leader to come to partial week, there's a split leader function. That pricing is actually not in front of me right now. I apologize, but it is on our leader's guide as long on our website too. In the campsite notes, yes, Amy, you could put where you're bringing a trailer in the campsite notes. Last year, there was a field that said, are you bringing a trailer, yes or no? But I've heard it's not there right now. So please at least put that in the campsite notes. Cool. So moving along, visitors in camp. So in the next week or so, our visitor registration form will be up. We do need to know if any visitor is coming into camp per our health department regulations. We can't allow walk-ins just based on latest scouting, youth protection guidelines, as well as health department. So please go online if you're visiting camp. This link will be sent out to everyone, similar to how this link was for today's meeting. But please pre-register on our website. And this link will also be the link if you want to purchase your family barbecue tickets for Friday night as well. You could also purchase on the training post, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Adult supervision requirements. So because it's a Scouts BSA camp, all adults must be registered to attend summer camp, and that includes taking our safeguarding youth training. So on May 31st, safeguarding youth training expired for, I'd say, about 500,000 to 900,000 people across the nation, adults. So the old safeguarding youth course, our youth protection course, is no longer valid, so everyone must take the 90-minute course. If you took the 90-minute course, which is called safeguarding youth training, within the last year, you could might be eligible to take the refresher course. The thing that we're noticing is many folks are taking the refresher course without taking the full safeguarding youth course. You will not be recognized for having your safeguarding youth training complete if you only take the refresher course. So please make sure you check your status, because we will unfortunately turn people away if you don't have safeguarding youth training and you're not properly registered prior to camp. Moving on to our trading posts. So our theme shirts are available through purchase through the parent portal and registration system. So the image to the right is a little bit of a blurry image, but it's the image of what our shirts will look like. Those shirts are due June 17th, so those orders. So that's only 6 days away, and they will not be sold in the trading post. So our camp t-shirts are pre-order only through the trading post link. I think I talked about it earlier, but blue cards, they're not needed unless your council does not use Black Pug. I do know there are 1 or 2 councils on this call that do not use Black Pug, but we could still pull a report for you of what your scouts earned, and then you'll just have to do the legwork of transferring into your scout book accounts. But we do have reports available. All of our once the merit badge is received for our Great Falls Council units, they will be uploaded within 2 weeks after camp ends to the system, so those should sync right automatically with your scout book account. Merit badge kits. So some classes have a fee attached to it for merit badges, as you might have seen. We do have also additional kits too available for purchase in the trading post. If your unit wants to set up a unit account to purchase items in the trading post, you're more than welcome. It's kind of like a credit account. You could, use it anytime. Family barbecue, as I said, that is going to be on Fridays. So tickets are available at the trading post. They're also available on the visitor form, as I said. We also have other different products in there besides food and drinks. And we have tons of new products this year, which is awesome. Tons of Scouthaven branded water bottles, mugs, magnets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, stuff like that. But we do also have plain white t-shirts for tie-dye, as well as other program supplies that, for some of the cool events that we have going around camp. So staffing needs. So this is a big one. We are actually almost fully staffed this year, which is awesome. We could still use a couple lifeguards, which, if you're 16 or if you know anyone 16 or older, we're still looking for lifeguards. Our biggest problem actually occurs during week 2 this year for Scouts BSA. I'll be upfront and honest. We will need some adult help. So we have 150 Scouts BSA youth coming week 2. The problem is, and it's not a problem, but we also have roughly 35 staff, and about 7 of our staff will be out of town going to heading to Jamboree or other events going on. So I know this is your adults, it is your vacation too. But if anyone's willing to help out in areas such as, supervising the lifeguard tower, perhaps teaching a merit badge, if we offer welding or something like that, and you're skilled, that's what you do for a living, please reach out to us. With the second week of camp, we will be a bit understaffed. And that is our biggest Scouts BSA week. So I do want to be upfront with everyone right now, because we have a lot of people heading to Birch Bark or camp or, preparing to leave for Jambo or going across out of the country. So, but any adults, we're always looking for help in the kitchen. We're always looking for help teaching merit badges, crossing the street because of our shotgun rifle merit badges. Just another set of eyes in all of our areas because, some of our staff, again, will be out. But if anyone knows anyone, at least for lifeguards for a full summer position, please feel free to reach out to me. And that is all we have for today. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'll stop and we'll see if there's any questions just for the group. And again, this meeting is recorded, so we will be sharing this with everyone who cannot make it because we had quite a few people who could not make it today that we're hoping to be on here. So are there any questions?
I'm just going to jump in on a little bit more merit badge information. So as we go through the summer, obviously many of our registered for merit badges already, but we understand that some things go onto a waiting list. Some of the merit badges fill up, especially that second week. What we're looking to do is be as flexible as we can, and if we see a lot of names on a waiting list for a specific merit badge, we have the staff to be able to do it, we're going to open up another section for those. Or if we're only 3 or 4 away from being able to, if there's only 2 or 3 kids, 3 or 4 on a waiting list, we'll talk to the merit badge counselor and be able to see if they can up the maximums allowable. Some of those maximums are for safety things, like obviously our shotgun, things like that. Those maximums are probably not going to move. But for a lot of the other merit badges, if we just get a little bit more supervision, a lot of times we can bump up those maximums as long as we have the materials and supplies that we need. One of the things that we have going for us this summer, we do have a couple of staff that are leaving that second week, but we have so many returning really, really great staff that know what they're doing, and they're going to, walk in with confidence that they can teach just a few more, or even open up a whole nother section if we have the staff to be able to do it. So if you're interested in a merit badge and you weren't able to get into it, please get onto the waiting lists or send us an email with which scouts want to be on which merit badges, and right up to the day that you get here, we'll still be trying to be as flexible as we can to get your kids into the merit badges that they come to camp to get. And so it's one of the nice things about that program schedule is that we can still move kids as of that first day. When you first come into camp, I'll have a list for you of which merit badges they're registered for, but I'll also have a list for which merit badges we still have openings in, and which ones we're looking to add a section to. And so we can be a little bit flexible. One of my favorite times last summer was actually that first morning. All the great conversations on Sunday about moving kids from this merit badge to this, or maybe they're not interested in this, maybe they want to move to this. I actually, it's a lot of little conversations, but it's actually helps me to get to know your scouts and you guys. And then that first morning, that Monday morning, I try as hard as I can to keep up with Digger, going around from campsite to campsite and just double checking with every unit to make sure that your kids know where they're going on Monday, and if there's any last minute changes that they want to make to their merit badge schedule, we can still make them even as of that Monday morning. So just because it says it's full, don't assume that they won't be able to get into things. We're looking to add some more sections of the merit badges that we have open right now. And some of them the maximums are just they're just set wrong right now. So things like fingerprint merit badge, I think it's set at 15, but we're just going to change that maximum to be able to allow kids that are on that merit on that waiting list into there. And then like things like chest merit badges, some of those one stops we can include a lot more kids than what maybe we had on the maximum. So I'll be looking at Black Pug system to make sure that we update those and include people in where they can go. So yeah, this summer we're not going to be doing scuba merit badge. It's just one of those things that every once in a while we can get the right people to come in and do that. We're not able to do that this summer.
I could
So
talk to the OA for a second.
Sorry, we'll get to it soon though. Okay. Sorry, Brandon. What's that?
I'll talk to the OA tap out for a second. So we did not mention on Tuesday is OA day, so Order the Arrow day. So please, if you have members of your unit that are in the Order of Arrow, bring your sash. Additionally, I believe actually someone else from Troop 6 did reach out to us, and I connected them with Jerry Sullivan, who's our lodge advisor. So he is working on a special tap out. It might be during one of our flags ceremonies for the OA. Our council here does tap outs a little differently. We kind of do it at a weekend at unit level, but there has been a couple of requests for a tap out. So Jerry is working on doing it so it's part of the ceremony and something special for the camp. So I hope that answers that question as well, Alex.
I had a council training person come to me about a month ago and talk to me about liquid fuels training. And we're looking to be able to offer that during one of the merit badge sections during the week. So while adults are sending their scouts off to merit badges, we're looking to have probably an afternoon. During one of the afternoon sessions, we're going to be offering liquid fuels training. For those of you who haven't taken that and are curious about the safest way to have that stuff happen in your camp, it's really important. As a scout leader myself, there's sometimes when I talk myself into, I think we're doing this the right way, but that's probably not correct. If I'm saying I think we're doing this the right way, we're probably not. And we're talking about something that's pretty dangerous here in our campsites. A lot of you are bringing, propane stoves and things like that. And we love for the kids to be doing that stuff in your campsites, but we want to make sure that you're being safe with it. Not for, not like a selfish, don't burn down our camp thing, but because your kids need to be learning that the right way. And we really need to take their safety into account. So we're going to be offering that training during camp. And so we're going to try to make it as convenient as we can during one of those merit badge sessions, or maybe a two merit badge session block where they can come down and we'll offer that training to any adult that's in camp. So, and maybe we'll get some cookies or something to entice you guys down to to come down to liquid fuels. All right. Canvas tents provided. Yes. So we have on OA day. And on our Beaver Day, we're going to set up all the canvas tents all around camp. So they're platform tents. They have wooden platforms. The canvas goes on top, and those are set up all summer. The Rangers do an incredibly good job about making sure that our canvas tents in this camp are top notch. We just don't have ones that are leaking and going all over the place. I've been at other camps. I don't want to talk bad about other camps, but I've been at some camps where that was not the case, and it's one of the things that I appreciate so much about the Rangers at Scouthaven is they make sure that stuff is in really top-notch shape all the time. And there's cots in every tent. There's 2 cots in there. Canvas tents for adults too, or is it okay if we set up our own tent if we want? Ooh, somebody getting adventurous. Yes, in your campsite. You will be able to set up your own tent if you want to. Some people feel more comfortable staying in their own tent. You can bring your own tent. All the same rules apply for your own tent as for the Scouts BSA tents. So that means all the 2 deep leadership stuff and adults not staying with kids during Scouts BSA and all those kinds of things. So regardless if it's your own tent or not, all the same rules apply. Hammocks allowed in the trees around the site. Oh, I'm a hammock guy too, so I understand what you're saying. Some of the sites are a lot better for that. Some of the sites have those of you who know camp. There's some of them that just have some really nice hammock opportunities near them. I won't guarantee that there's a perfect set of trees for you, but hammock people understand that they're going to have to be a little bit flexible, and you really want to stay very close to your site. So if you're doing a hammock, you want to be really, really close to your site, and watch out for privacy concerns too. That's one of the other things with hammock camping is that the nice thing about a tent is you have a consistent place to change. And a hammock gets a little bit tricky with that. So, just standing outside your hammock, changing your underwear is not probably the best thing to do. So it gets a little bit tricky with that stuff. So, if you're hammock camping, you probably have to put a little bit of forethought into the privacy stuff that goes along with that. Does that make sense? Brandon, do you concur on that stuff or no?
I also have to check with Ranger too, because a lot of the trees, they do annually cut down a lot of trees. Our Ranger would be the one to say, yeah, let's go ahead and let's put this, that's a good spot for it, or it might not be, just because he might know something that we all don't just from looking at it. So definitely something we want to check with the ranger too before we set up a game. I'll pass the next question on to Damon. Speaking of tents, for new scouts going to Camp Thunder Rock, should we bring a tent, or are there going to be some available?
Yes, so you have both options. We will have tents for the scouts to stay in. And because they're all the same style tent, we'll be teaching the kids to pitch those throughout the week, and so that when it comes to their overnight, they're already going to be practiced at pitching those camp tents. So they certainly can stay in those. They're good quality tents. They don't leak. They were good purchases a couple of years ago. They're still in really good shape. But if a kid feels more comfortable, if they have their own tent and they really, really want to stay in their own tent, I know that there's kids who are just really, maybe they got a tent from grandpa for their birthday and they really want to stay in that. That's cool too. We know that, and especially when it comes to, like, again, privacy stuff, there's just some kids that really, especially like if it's the only kid from your unit that's going to Thunder Rock and he doesn't feel real comfortable staying with a kid from another unit, maybe he's not sure he's best buddies with that kid, and he wants that little bit more privacy, that certainly is fine. We're going to have plenty of room to set up tents in that archery area. Actually, we're not sure where we're doing that yet. We might be. We're probably going to be going down to Holman to do that. So we'll carry all that stuff down there. That'd be great. Oh, are there any merit badges doing hikes like Exploration did last year? Did you have fun with that? I certainly did. I absolutely loved doing that. We do have a couple of things going around camp that will be doing that. And what we're looking to do is, whenever we're doing an outing like that, maybe opening it up a little bit more. If there's a merit badge that's doing some kind of outing, opening that up to other folks that just want to come on the outing just to go on a hike. I really love the property, and I love being able to go up on the hill and see some things that are a little bit further away from a building. So yes, we're looking to put a couple of little hike adventures together. They might be connected to a merit badge, but they also might just be a fun way to get up on the hill and away from camp for a little while. So thank you for that.
Is there any that we know for sure are doing that? Because like last year, some of our kids weren't totally prepared for that hike.
Okay. No, there's nothing right now.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, exploration, I think it was just a requirement to kind of do an expedition. So our expedition was going.
Okay, search and rescue doesn't have any weird requirements like that.
They do, but they're not going to be going so far from camp.
Okay.
They'll have to run a search
in campsite
protocol, but it'll actually be happening in the main part of camp down here.
Okay.
So it's less about getting way out into nature for that search and rescue thing than it is how to organize your resources, how to organize your people, to be able to do an effective and efficient search. So we can do that. We can do that down in camp and not have to be gone for 4 hours like we did last year, so, or 6 when it took a little longer than we thought. Coming back after dark one night, I think. So, any other questions on that kind of stuff? Boy, I had fun last year with you guys. That was my first year doing Scouts BSA, on staff for Scouts BSA, and I had the time of my life with your Scouts. I was so appreciative of their manners, of the way that they acted as Scouts throughout camp, the way that they treated an old man like me, trying to kind of live my dream out, being out there. I had the time of my life, and I expect to have a really, really great summer this year too. We have some incredible staff that your kids are going to be so impressed by. We have a lot of new faces coming on, and a lot of the experienced people that we've had for years coming back this summer. So it's going to be a great summer. First time to Scouthaven. Excellent. Very good. You're going to love it. We got a sign out front that says welcome home, and hopefully it's going to feel that way for you. Just after a couple of days, it's going to feel like your second home. So any other questions?
So I will drop phone number into the chat. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to email me or call me. I know there's a few emails that I received in the last 45 minutes or so that we will work on first thing when I get in the office after a meeting tomorrow. But any other questions, feel free to reach out. We appreciate your time.
Hey, Brandon,
Yes.
sorry for being late. If you've answered this, I apologize. I'm trying to do triple duty tonight, as all of us scouters do.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there used to be a couple years ago where there was a sign-up sheet that had the parents filled out for bug spray and for sunscreen that New York State required that they sign off. Is that required anymore?
That should all be just written on your health form. So we still have the over-the-counter form. The problem is without having, so I don't know if you're on, we don't have an over-the-counter. We can't do any over-the-counter medicine administered by our staff. So
Okay.
the over-the-counter medicine because our health officer is EMT, so they're not certified by New York State to do that. I believe the over-the-counter form actually might still have the health or the bug spray and suntan lotion on it. I gotta check that with our health department again. We've been going back.
Okay.
It's still a little tricky.
It's not posted at all anywhere either, that OTC form.
Yes, because the OTC form allowed us to give out prescription drugs, which we're not allowed to do. So that's why it's not. But the form, I believe, actually had the sunscreen and lotion on it. But we'll have to see if that's allowed to be done because that might just need a parent signature, not a physician signature.
Yeah, it was a parent signature, but it was a required sheet. So in other words, if they had somebody went by and you go, oh my God, the kid's cherry red, I'm going to put sunscreen on you, that it was allowed kind of thing. So just want to cover.
The form we had been using was the over-the-counter form, which allowed like over-the-counter medicine such as Tums or aspirin, stuff like that.
Okay.
Because we can't administer it, we obviously can't use the same form because there is no over-the-counter form.
Gotcha.
So I would
second,
note it on your form, if you need bug spray or lotion like that. But I'm still working with the health department on getting a final answer. I know it's very close to camp, but health department does what the health department does.
Sure. Absolutely. And I joined very late, so I don't know if you covered it. Is there a like cooking camp night?
So the health department actually frowns upon us cooking outside the dining hall for a lot of different reasons. But if there's a one-off situation, we could talk.
Not a problem. I just want to, because a lot of times what would be the variance on either you got the food from the dining area and you cooked it for your families if you wanted to bring family in or whatever, or you went and got pizzas, had them brought in, or there were lots of variety.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I'd rather just eat at the dining hall. The food is great. I love it. So
not have a night in our schedule built for a unit to do that right now. But
great.
Like if your unit want to do pizza, we could talk about that. There are a lot of health department stuff obstacles in New York State that we have to kind of get around if we do.
Well, there's always snack that you can do depending on what level snack you want, like cobbler or pizza.
Yeah, there's always
or turkey dinner.
I know, like we do a Dutch oven cook-off at camp, which I think we might still be doing. But stuff like that. But there's just a lot of nuances with the health department in terms of like full meals, I guess.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You at camp, everybody?